Hey guys, what's up? We're going to be starting up soon, about 8 minutes. Just make sure you have your chat box turned on and shoot me a message so I know that you're here, your name and where you're from, and I'll be back in a minute. Thanks. Hey everybody, what's going on? It's me, it's Ernest T. Hey, there you are. Hopefully you guys have your chat up. There's a group chat button. Turn that on so you have your chat box up. This way we can talk. I'm going to give a couple of minutes here, but I definitely want to stay faithful on time because I know everybody's got stuff to do. So if you're looking for that chat box, what you do is if you click in your window towards your left, you're going to see a strip of commands come up, and there should be a little chat icon. Turn that on, and then do me a favor, just say who you are and where you're from so we know you're there. Let me know if you can hear me okay, if you can see me okay before we start. This way we can get going. I know there's people there. I see you. Hopefully you guys will find the chat and get that going. Where are you guys at? Come on, talk to me. Chat to me. I see you in there. Turn on your chat. Who's here? Who all is here and where are you from? Are you guys having a problem with your chat? Here, I'll say something to you. Hello. There's your chat. You guys able to find that? If somebody wants to email me if there's some kind of a technical problem with the chat or with the audio or the video, shoot me an email, tattoosbykeith. This way I know you guys are there, tattoosbykeith@mac.com. Otherwise, hopefully you'll find the chat and say hello. Everything else looks good. I can see that we're broadcasting. I see that there are people there. Somebody say something. Chat window, anybody. Give me some chat ski. Okay, I got an email. I can see everyone in the chat, but not your message. Hey, we're chatting with you. Okay. Wonder why that is. Let me see if I can't fix that. Mm-hmm. At least I know you guys are chatting with me, so that's good. Just give me a second. We'll figure this out. It's terrible. I don't know why I don't see you folks. That's no fun. Let me see. Let me see. Bear with me, everybody. Sorry about that. We're going to get underway in a sec. See if we can get me, everybody. Sorry about that. Oh, there we go. Hey, there you all are in a completely different window. Google and YouTube suck. Okay. So now I have everybody. Beautiful. All right. So let's see what's happening here. All right, we got Steve and Jesse from Virginia. We got Chris Figueroa from the Bronx. Boogie down, baby. Little Lee. Terp City Bear. Air Maven Studios. Up, Charlie. What's up, Charlie? Nestor the Apprentice from Bolivia, but I live in Finland. Glenn de Guzman. Chris Figueroa. Nestor, Chris, Nestor. All right, I got everybody. Okay, awesome. So that's great. Thank you guys so much for being here. And there are people who are going to watch the replay as well. Hey, Devin, what's up? So I just want to make sure I get a chance to say hello to everybody. I'm showing like 10 to 12. People keep dropping in and out. I really want to thank you very much for being here. That video presentation is from a few years ago, kind of in the middle of when I started the Tattoo Mentor program and now. As you can see, I'm a no-frills guy. Here's my studio behind me, the mess that it is. And I'm going to screen share with you guys for the presentation. And then I'm going to have plenty of time for Q&A. And I also have a question from someone who can't attend. The other thing I want to say is if you guys or girls or girls or girl guys, I don't know, there's so many different abbreviations for what people are nowadays. I don't want to offend anybody. Okay? Okay. If you have a question, because I've done this for a long time. If you have a question that you're embarrassed to answer, embarrassed to ask in chat because you don't want to be like singled out or you're shy about your question, I'd be happy for you to do the same thing you guys were just doing. Just email tattoosbykeith@mac.com, tattoosbykeith, that's how I spell my name, at mac.com, and just write anonymous question and then put your question. And I won't call you out during the webinar because some people are shy about questions, and you know what? Being shy or anxious about asking your question shouldn't be a reason that you don't get your question asked and answered. That's how I feel about that. So hopefully you guys relate. And also, I just want you guys to know that, the whole Tattoo Mentor thing is a very much support group thing. It's not a competitive thing, okay? It's a creative thing where I'm going to encourage you, support you, coach you, help you. But your fellow mentees, I expect them to do the same thing. That's why I implemented the private Facebook group not too long ago, because it's really cool that all of the people have been invited and they're there, and you guys have like a little trust area where you can share stuff about business and accounting and insurance and technique and dealing with clients. Because you don't always want to air that stuff in public. It's not really good business to air some of it in public. I actually think in a lot of cases it's bad business, and I've seen it where people will just put somebody on blast because they showed up 35 minutes late for an appointment or something. I don't know. But just before I go to kind of slides here, just so you know, like what it is that I'm about with this. My whole goal with this, okay, is to connect with people who feel stuck. They're either impeded by some type of fear or some kind of technical difficulty, anxiety. A lot of us have anxiety, depression. It's hard to be an artist. And most of it boils down to fear about trying something new, fear about being judged by other artists, fear about not getting enough likes on social media. I just want to free people up from that so they could just be creative and create what they want to create and have fun. Because if there's anything I've learned in 25 years of tattooing and, 40-something years of just drawing and entertaining and being an artist and musician is You never know the thing you're going to create that's going to tickle somebody's pickle. It could be the thing you took 10 minutes on and didn't give a second thought that catches fire and just explodes in popularity. And that's been proven in my life and in the lives of people that I share these experiences with over and over and over again. So the only thing that's going to stop that from happening is if you're afraid to put yourself out there and be yourself and show people what truly comes from you and not worry about what's around you. It's cool to be inspired. It's cool to be influenced. But in the end, I want to see your fingerprint. I don't want to see your imitation of someone else's fingerprint, because that's just crap, man. That's just really, really boring stuff. You're not going to be the next whoever if you just copy them. You're just going to be, a bad imprint of somebody else. So anyway, rambled enough on that. Let me get to the presentation. Just real quick, if anybody, while I'm setting up the time, anybody has a quick question in chat, I'll take a quick question right now. So hit me in chat. If anything about the intro, you have a question about anything related to that topic. There'll be plenty of time, like I said, at the end. But just while I'm fidaddling, any questions? Anybody not check in? 13 of you there. Little Lee, a Dumbo energy drink. Is that your whole name? That's insane. Okay, I see some anonymous questions coming in my inbox. Awesome. Please do that if you're shy. Don't hesitate to do that. I'm going to set up my timer here so we respect everyone's time. Okay. Hey, Tasha, what's up? Thanks for checking in. Wait, Tasha, where are you from? Who's from the furthest away? Where's everybody from? Oh, I see Leeds. That's a ways away. The Bronx, Leeds. Leeds might win. California. I don't know, though. We got this guy from Bolivia who actually lives in Finland. He might be the winner. Cincinnati, Ohio. Woo! Round on the ends and high in the middle. UK, yep. Manchester, New Hampshire, awesome. You guys are awesome. Okay, so I'm going to let the inbox flow with the anonymous questions. I'm doing the presentation. I want to get through this presentation so we have a good chunk for Q&A. So if you're going to ask anything, I want to kind of ignore, oh, Netherlands, awesome. I'm going to kind of ignore the chat for a few minutes. If you guys want to chat amongst yourselves, that's totally cool. And just remember, the email is tattoosbykeith@mac.com. Okay, I'm going to do a little screen share. So here we go. Okay, just real quick in chat. Everybody can see this Photoshop screen, correct? I just want to make sure everybody's got the screen share action. So real quickly, you can always take a screenshot of this or just hold up your phone and shoot it. This is my information for all my stuff. And lesson one, here's a free lesson. All right, great, awesome. I see you guys. It's really important that you create a clean calling card for yourself to put in your emails as the signature in your email. It's good to put up once in a while as a post on Instagram or on Facebook, just so it's pretty much like a digital business card, and make it clean and make it simple. And another thing, some of you are going to be comfortable with and some of you are not, and this is something I've been teaching for years. Put your face on your collateral and promotional material. I am not the most handsome guy in the world. I know this, and my wife tells me so. It's very sad. I got a tear in my eye right now. You can't see it, but it's there. Here's the thing, and I've said this on podcasts and in presentations before. If I say to you right now, Kat Von D, okay, the first thing that pops into your mind is not going to be one of her tattoos. It's going to be her face, okay? And she's arguably, at this point, maybe the most famous tattoo artist in the world. Maybe now with Ink Masters that may have changed. I never really watched Ink Masters, but I guess you could do the same with her ex-husband is one of the judges. But even if I say Paul Booth, when I say Paul Booth, I see Paul in my head. I don't see his art first. I see him first because I know who he is. His identity is linked to his brand. So it's very important that you guys link your identities to your brand. Hey, Puerto Rico. And it's really hard because maybe you're shy, maybe you're humble, maybe you think, and now here comes fear. Maybe you think your coworkers or your friends are going to bust your chops about putting, oh, you put your face on it, what are you, fashion model, blah, 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 blah. This is where the negativity of the world comes in and just screws you out of your opportunities. You have to shut off the hate recorder in your head when everybody is talking this garbage to you, because it's garbage. You got to consider the source. You want to write something down from this? Write down, consider the source. And of course I didn't come up with that, and you've all probably heard it before, but it's something that you should think about all the time when you're being criticized or people are trying to push you down or hold you back from doing something creative. Consider the source. 9 times out of 10, it's jealousy, okay? The rest of the time, just say to yourself, consider the source. All right, is this person more successful, A, than I am now, and B, than I want to be in my wildest dreams? Probably not. No one who's a huge success is going to crap on you because you want to brand your name and your likeness, because we're in a business that sells the artist, okay? Now, here's a quote that I'll definitely, all right, I'm going to switch just for the sake of boredom. I'll switch off this slide. Hopefully you all have this information by now, and if not, you can see it in the replay. So, you consider the source, and what I would say to you guys is you gotta, lost my train of thought. Let me get it back. So like I said, anything that's branded, oh, boom, it came back. Thank you. Okay, so we live in a world now, okay, where because there aren't really magazines that are up and running anymore, and there aren't even like the great websites that there were 10 or 15 years ago where there was a lot of sharing and such. It's all social media now. It seems like everything is Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and what have you. So marketing has changed quite a bit, and the model for success as an artist has changed quite a bit. And something I was taught a couple of years ago by someone I did mentoring with, which was a complete shift of thought for me, and it really helped me quite a bit to understand A, why I was doing well, and B, how I could do even better. Is people don't buy the art, they buy the artist, okay? Maybe that's a note to write down, I don't know. But, it's a key point that you might want to carry away. People don't buy the art, they buy the artist. What does that mean? That means that every time you look at something that to you is not aesthetically pleasing, or you say to yourself, hey, I could have done better than that, or why this person and why not me? Well, guess what? Most of the reason why that person and why not you is because people are invested in wanting to do life with that person. It's not even about how well they execute. It's not about that they paint the best flower bowl. It's not about anything other than, wow, I like this person. I connect with this person, okay? We like the same music. We like the same art. We like the same movies. We share the same opinions on things. Believe it or not, that can be way more powerful than if you become a virtuoso artist or musician or photographer. If people like you, they're going to want to support you. Does that make sense? So the new marketing, okay, because of the short attention span theater that we all live in now, okay, the new marketing can't be this. It can't be, I make something cool, I put it up, I say buy it. I make something cool, I put it up, I say buy it. You make something cool, you put it up, you say buy it. You say get tattooed by me, you say buy my painting, I say buy my painting, I say get tattooed by me. And essentially we're all in a tornado of BS, trying not to curse. And what winds up happening is every time you even do something outstanding, I'm saying your work that you twisted yourself in knots to complete and make a beautiful piece of work, it just becomes this annoying piece of advertising to people who just want to move on to the next kitten meme or, guy gets hit in groin with football. So it's really important that you connect with people, okay? You want to connect with them on a personal level, and you want to give a lot away of you, of who you are and what you have to offer. You want to give a lot of that away, okay? I'm not saying tattoo people for free. Maybe you hold a contest and that's a promotional device that we talk about in mentoring. But I'm saying, hey, whenever you can, post something you think is going to inspire your fellow artists. It's going to lift them up. It's going to support them. Post an article that you came across maybe about tattooing or painting or a certain artist that inspires you and share it, okay? Let's switch images. Little repost from True Tubes. Thank you very much, Derb and everybody at True Tubes. But that's the thing, man. You want people to be like, oh, crap, Jerry's cool, man. He put up this article about Chuck Close. I never heard of Chuck Close. And then I read the article, and he's this amazing painter who, got a horrible, debilitating handicap and then had to reinvent his way of painting, and I'm inspired. And how does that hurt Jerry? It doesn't. We got to remember that it's not about getting all of these skills and quote secrets and then keeping them from each other because we're so fearful of competition that we just become these creepy, loner, competitive, angry beings, man, because that's not what it's about. I'm not trying to sound like hippie, but you're only going to benefit from helping others because you help others, they're going to want to help you. And there's another little adage I'll share with you guys. Whatever you want right now think about that before I finish. Whatever you want, you could want more business. You could want more money. You could want more time with your friends and family. You could want whatever, fill in the blank, some deep thing maybe that you want or some not so deep thing you want. Whatever you want, you have to give it away. What? Yeah, it's really counterintuitive, but you got to give it away. Whenever I'm tight on money and I need money, I'm like tipping extra money at Starbucks. I'm paying for the car behind me at the drive-thru. I'm tipping the attendant an extra $1 at the gas station. And then guess what? It comes around. It comes around. And if you don't believe that and that doesn't work for you, cool. You're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong place because that's what I'm talking about. We are not tapping into resources that are available to us mainly because of fear and negative pressure from the outside. Things people have said or done to us, experiences we've had that have squashed the friggin' magic out of our lives. And it's terrible. It's terrible. And mostly what we need is people to encourage us and to back each other. We got to back each other up. We're in a backstabby business. Tattooing, man. Oh, I mean, literally the top 5 to 10%. If you guys listen to my podcast at all, you know where I'm going. Are cool people who are good people who just, this is what they do for a living. They tattoo. But there's a lot of people that just creeps. And again, I'm trying to trying to curb my cursing. But they're creepy. They're out for themselves. They're extremely competitive. They'll stab you in the back for a nickel. It's terrible. But you know what? You have to push. You got to push forward with your life and your agenda and your peace and your happiness and your joy. You have to push through the negativity and the resistance. Okay. First, mini contest. Ready? For a free print, free art print from me. What is this brass object in the bottom right corner? Go. The first answer in the chat gets the print. And you got to spell it right. Oh, shit. Oop, I cursed. Come on, what is it? Free art print. All in early with the bad spelling. Oh, Devin wins. All right, Devin. Devin, shoot me an email. And you could just put the words, you could just put the words I loop, Devin, and put your mailing address in, and I'll get that out to you. Devin won. Devin. Oh, no clue. Air Maven Studios. You're lucky I know you're not a tattoo artist. But to tell you the truth, you are an airbrush artist, and that would be a very helpful tool for you to check the tips of your airbrush needles, which I use it for quite a bit, because it'll show you damage at the end of your needles to make sure your needles are completely straight. And yeah, he won. All right, so let's move on. Any questions so far? I will take, little pauses for questions. Nestor with the disclaimer. Sorry, Nestor. There's Carl. Carl took the course all the way from Ireland. Cursing helps me pay attention. Right. Yeah. That's mine's. That's so it doesn't get scratched up in your pockets. Okay. Any questions about what we've discussed so far? Any of you find that you suffer from like negativity from the exterior? People, just negging you out when you're trying to push forward and you're trying to do something new and get out of your comfort zone. Do you find that people are not encouraging and they kind of give you the squash? Anybody experiencing that? I mean, I know I've experienced it a ton of times, man. I tell you, the biggest blessing is my wife, because she's a huge fan and supporter, and she backs me up. Oh, the painting on the screen is an acrylic. Full of negativity when someone is arguing about price. You should have learned there is no arguing about price. Your price is your price. If they don't like your price, they should go somewhere else. That's an acrylic painting. This picture is of me at the last Cradle of Aviation show here in New York. And it's an acrylic. And I don't want to neglect the chat. Hold on. Let me give this chat a sec. For no copying, replicating others' work. Well, I got a lot of crap from my teacher and the other artists at the studio for no copying and replicating others' work. A lot of negativity from local shops. Boy, I can relate to that. So Nestor, let me dig a little deeper into Nestor's situation here, because his statement is a little foggy to me. Were you copying things? Jerry, I'm going to answer your questions in a moment. Just let me address Nestor. I'm assuming your question is about that picture. Nestor, so were you copying things and then you were being criticized for copying things? Is that what you're trying to say? Yes or no? Excuse me, I have bad allergies for some reason the last couple of days. Excuse my sniffing. Yeah, Jerry, I got you. Don't worry. Okay, I'm going to wait for Nesta to chime in if he's still there. Hey, Bill Ryan. Now, Bill attended one of my classes, damn, a dog's age ago, and he's a monster now. And it's all my fault. No, I'm kidding. Bill is tremendously talented, and he was back when I used to do the Keep It Real live seminars. Bill was there at a great one. It was a small group, but man, it was some powerhouse artists in that group who went on to just kill. Bill's awesome. Everybody look him up. Nestor, for example, learn old school. I did the basic idea, but in my own way, so I would not be a copy. They got mad about it. Okay, so Nestor, I could address this better. Hey, what's up, Ryder 312? I could address this better actually in mentoring, but I don't want to leave you without an answer, and then I have to move on, and we'll have yeah, no sweat, Bill. And then we'll go on. So what I would say on that subject for everyone, Nestor's subject, is, okay, the topic of copying, quote, copying or duplicating things, okay. I believe in something called master study. Master study in painting would be, if you're an oil painter, you're going to take a Caravaggio or a Michelangelo or a John Singer Sargent, and you're going to do a dedicated copy of it for a learning experience, but you would not sell that or reproduce it or distribute it in any way. It's a study. It's to help you learn. And the best art communities, art schools, art student leagues in the world are going to have you do master study. Now, I believe you can bring the master study concept to the tattoo world. However, it's better to do it, you know, in colored pencil or marker. Nowadays, we've all, well, not we've all, I shouldn't assume that, but those of us who are blessed enough to have like an iPad or an iPad Pro can do it digitally. I believe 100% in master study. However, that's like, it's like your homework. I don't know a better word to use. And if you were studying something in school, I don't think you would publish your homework when you became a professional. I hope that makes sense. So let me move on. Great question from Nestor. And Nestor, what I would say is, man, do what you got to do to learn. But then when it comes to actually putting stuff on people, you really have to get away. You don't want to copy, especially a tattoo. You never want to take a client's photo. If a client comes in with a photo of another tattoo, and this is for everybody, I don't care if you're broke, don't do it. You use it as an influence and you recreate it and redesign it, and you have to learn, and this is something we cover in mentoring, how to sell the idea to the client where they understand that you have their best interest at heart and you're going to give them something better than that photo because it's created completely tailor-made for them, and they will never run into another person on the street again who has it unless that person does exactly what they just did, which is walk in with a picture of their tattoo. You can be persuasive. I have not had a, quote, fight about that in 4 or 5 years, and it's all based on the language you use, your body language, the level of trust that you develop with your clients, and that's about how you present yourself. And we're gonna go into a few of those points here in the presentation. So let me get back to the presentation. And so real quick, there were some questions about this. This is an acrylic painting that I did at the Flight show. You're gonna see some other images of it, more complete. Now, if I'm doing an acrylic painting, it was very shocking to the people around, but I'll actually take a Sharpie and draw the thing on first. So what you're seeing is Sharpie, and then on top of the Sharpie, I started working in with my brown washes, probably what you call Yeah, Nestor, no problem. Awesome, awesome, guys. Thank you. I'm trying not to, I want to, I'm trying to, I'm such a people pleaser. I'm trying to please you guys and move forward. So let me move forward. This is where my wife would be kicking me in the leg. So it was Sharpie and then brown washes of, this is probably like Van Dyke brown acrylic. But later on, you'll see the finished piece. And the thing I would say is you can use markers underneath acrylic, but never use markers under oil. There's a little tip for you guys who paint. Because the solvents in oil paint will reactivate the marker. And I've literally had that happen where I put marker under oil paint and it came through probably 12 layers of oil paint. So that's a chemistry problem. And your buddy Keith is not a chemist. So, but I love painting live. I love performing. That to me is a performance. And I love performing in front of people. Okay. Speaking of performing, so just like things I've managed to do that have been really interesting. This was me shooting my television pilot, which I do have available for download. And if you're in the course, I'll just give it to you for free. All you got to do is ask me for it. But I did a pilot for a show called Tattoo Turnaround, and I went to a shop called State of Grace. At the time, Jason Ackerman worked there. Dave Rabinowitz worked there from Ink Masters. It was fun. It was basically a thing where I went in, and it was pretty much like Tabitha's salon takeover, but for tattoo artists. And I essentially go in, they give me the keys, and I'm the boss for a week. It's pretty fun. I really believed in it, and it didn't pan out, but you know what? As a standalone piece, I like it, and I'm proud of it. And it's one of the more real tattoo television things, in my opinion, because we really fired people. I really criticized people. There were real emotions. People's feelings got hurt. And not just for the sake of entertainment. I really went in and pointed out things that were fucked up. And I have to curse there because that's what they were. But so yeah, producer friend of mine in the background, Dave Devona, who was a big entertainment guy, the bald guy, and then some text. So anyway, I just threw up some pictures just to show you guys things I've been doing. Any given opportunity, I teach. This is an acrylic class that I just did recently. I think one or two of you may actually be at this class that are in the chat. And it was about style and not being a slave to reference, speaking of reference. So I had references laid out, but the idea was to get the feeling of the character without being a slave to the reference. And this is kind of goes to what I was saying earlier about get your fingerprint, be yourself. Here, this is about 8 or 10 people. We all painted the same character, but everybody's had an individual fingerprint, which I love. I think that's extremely important. Let's move on. This is the class here. Some really good people. There's Aaron Markerable right there. There's actually some strong-ass artists in this picture, painters and tattoo artists and illustrators. I have a lot of fun teaching. And when people show up who are crazy talented, who could teach classes themselves, that's pretty flattering. So there's the finished painting at the show. It's not the best photo in the world, but this gentleman bought the painting before it was finished. And that's one of the joys of live painting. Over the course of the 2.5 days that I painted it, this young man fell in love with this painting. Every time he came by and I added a little more detail or a little more sauce, he was sold. Thanks, man. He was sold. This kid wanted this painting when it was, I'm going to say, 70% done. So it was a pleasure to sell it to a collector who really, really dug it. And we talk about publishing in the program as well. So when you sell a piece like this, luckily this was a local person. Oh, thanks, Jerry. I appreciate that, man. I just had a lot of fun making it, which is my point about you guys freeing yourselves up to do what you want and not worry. Because guess what? I was surrounded by people who were all doing realism, who are all, you know, my joke about the tattoo community, and some of my friends are some of the best at this, but my joke about the tattoo community is it can look like a bunch of guys all competing to paint the best skull in oil. It's a bunch of people trying to paint the best realistic skull oil painting, and that's boring. So, you know, although I made a lot of bones with realism, I've gone back to my style, which to me is more pop surreal, more illustrative, more fantasy. I don't worry about squashing and stretching anatomy. I try to make all my pieces about something. They're either about color, or they're about light, or they're about character, or they're about humor, and some of them have a combination. This one to me is about color, and it's about humor. And yes, I think Carl made the point. It's a Joker Oni is what it is. And it's got a horrible pun title. The joke's Oni you. Oh boy. And it's like I said, it's sold to this kid before it was even done. Stephen Jesse, pricing art. Okay, in general or this? This I actually sold for $600. People told me I should have asked more, but you know what? Whatever. It was really a demo piece. Thanks, Nathaniel. It was really a demo piece, and I didn't see fit to charge more. If I painted it in my studio and put it in a show, I would have probably asked $8. But this kid wanted it so bad. I love giving my work to people who love it. Yeah, exactly. So, but the beauty of this was he was local because I said, listen, man, this thing got because it really did get a good crowd reaction. And the crowd reaction led me to believe it would do well as prints. So luckily this young man was from my area, not too far away. I said, let me please keep the painting. So I had it shot by my printmaker. And then you'll see a few slides later, prints on canvas and paper prints that actually are selling and sold very well. So that is an awesome experience. So what I would say to take away from that is every opportunity you get, paint live. Paint live. Why? The pressure makes you paint better paintings. I paint better paintings in front of people than I paint alone. And that's a fact. Yeah, I thank you for the push, Air Maven Studios. The podcast's still free. Go listen to them all because they're not going to be free. As soon as I retool, they may go on Patreon. They won't be expensive, obviously, but yeah. Carl, pricing art and tattoos in a town full of unemployment. Move. It's a terrible place to be. I know that sounds flippant, but you can't, it's like pricing sand in the desert, to flip it on its head. If the desert's covered in sand, who's going to buy it? The place is broke. You can't get water from a stone. Personally, in your situation, I would travel a lot more to make money to bring home. If you can't uproot and go, I would set up a travel schedule, do conventions, make my money on tour, and then come home or move. And those of you who know me know my advice is going to be as frank as possible. I don't pussyfoot around advice that I think will work. You can take it or leave it, obviously. You know your own situation better than I do, but on the face of it, that seems like a pretty cut and dry problem right there. All right, so let me move on. Oh, and here's a great thing to see. That's the painting. It's a crappy photo, so maybe this isn't the best comparison, but that's one of the prints. That's actually a tattoo client at the end of her appointment. She saw it hanging on the wall. Didn't even have a price tag on it. She said, "Oh, what? That's such a great painting." "Oh, you're very welcome." I said, oh, no, that's the print. The painting is sold. She, oh, my God, that's a print? You know, how much? So I sold her the print. So here's the deal with the pricing structure, and this is something we talk about in the mentoring program. If you're interested in publishing, always make copies of your work. Always have scans or photographs so that you can then sell prints. You don't want to make the money. You never want to make money once, okay? That's our problem being tattoo artists, is we only get to make money once. So whenever possible, publish your stuff, meaning reproduce it and distribute it. And if you can, in the case of this and others going forward from this, different pricing levels. So the painting was $600. The prints on stretched canvas are $250. That's shipping them out. They're $200 if you were to walk in my studio and buy it, or buy it from me at a show. And I've made now paper prints also. Let's see if I can find that for you. We'll jump ahead. Boop. If you look in the background, that's another print right there, a different one. But I made 10 limited edition prints on canvas. 10 only, signed and numbered, okay? Now in the background here, in this box, are the paper prints, which are an open edition. Those are 14 by 20 on 120-pound paper. They're really nice. And I sell those to customers for $15 and through the website for $20. And I'll also run specials where if somebody gets 3 prints, let's say, there'll be, excuse me, a price break. And it shows too. Like by the time Sunday rolls around at the show, you want to start doing Sunday price breaks on stuff if you can afford to, because you're just going to move more product. Let me find out where we left off. I think we were here. So here's a person out. I was out at Monsterpalooza in Burbank. I do digital paintings. Yes, I do digital work and sell prints. If you go on my web store, the Kingpin print is 100% digital. The Batman print is 100% digital. You'll see those up there. Collector at Monsterpalooza. You know, I knew I was going there. I didn't have a table. I didn't have a booth. But guess what? When a downtime, I hung out in this this open air space by the pool and by the parking lot. I sat at a table and I drew live. Okay, people would come over. They'd be curious, and guess what? Just happen to have some prints with. Hey, just happen to have a few prints with me here. Doesn't take anything to roll a few up, put them in a tube, and put them in your suitcase. If you know you're going where people love art, why not? And if somebody were to have shut me down, I would have just said fine. I would have put them away. So let's move on. Same show, different painting. I had brought this painting with me. And again, it's all connecting with the right buyer. I had actually debuted this painting 3 years before at the same show. And everybody was juiced about it. I got a big reaction. Nobody was interested in buying it. And this gentleman worked security at the event, and he fell in love with it, man. That's what you need. You need to get your stuff out there and get more eyes on it, because it's not about what it's worth. It's about what is somebody willing to pay for it. And it's also about what I had said earlier. People buy the artist, not the art. Every time this guy came by my booth and stared at this painting, I chatted him up, we joked around, we shared stuff about our families and our dogs and this and that. You gotta make a buddy, man. And guess what? My buddy bought this big painting and he helped me out. He's a great guy. So, you know, it's a people business now. People want to do life with people first, and then they want to buy their products second. So remember, that's, if I didn't tell you guys to jot that down before, jot it down. It's all about the psychology of relationships. Everybody's got to be a relationship, man. Your tattoo clients, your art clients, relationships, relationships, relationships. That's the new marketing. The new marketing is not place an ad. The new marketing is not 800 web graphics of something you're trying to get rid of. The new marketing is, crap, I want to hang out with Steven, man. He's cool. I like Tasha. She likes lame jokes, and I like her artwork, and we have the same dog or the same cat. That sounds ridiculous on the face of it, but it's not. That's what people want now. That's the world now. That's the post cell phone, smartphone, social media wave. I hope this is making sense. All right, let me move on. Showed you guys that. Skateboard deck painted for charity. One-shot enamel paint on a skateboard deck. Again, this guy's a great tattoo artist. His name is escaping me. I'm sorry. But him and his wife entered the auction. They won the board. I couldn't have been happier. This is another thing I want to stress to you. When you do create artwork, okay, even tattoos, if it's appropriate, but especially artwork, when someone buys your art, either take a picture with that person buying your art, okay, or just take a picture of that person with the art. That's huge. That goes into the buying the artist and not the art, because everybody in a picture with me, with my art, is happy. Do you notice? They're all smiling, ear to ear. They're ecstatic. That makes other people want it. It's contagious. People want to be with people who are cool, who do cool stuff, who are nice. The world is wrong. All this stuff people are shoving in your ear holes is not the truth. People don't want to be around negative, douchey people. People want to have fun. They want to enjoy things. They do want joy and relationship and friendship and love. All the hate comes from people who are afraid to be transparent and to be real, to have real relationships. So they've got to crap on everything, and all that power comes from negging people out. And you've got to stay in the minority that looks up and looks forward. You have to do that, or you're not going to be happy. You're not going to succeed. Forget succeeding at tattooing. You're not going to succeed at life if you let people squash you. Don't let people squash your spirit. And every opportunity you get, show your spirit and show that it's contagious. And what better way than to take a happy picture with somebody buying your artwork or winning it in a charity, or somebody. Don't just take a picture of the person with the tattoo. Take a picture of the person with the tattoo with a big smile on their face. You know, don't be one of these creeps who, you take a picture of an ankle tattoo and the girl's ass has to be out. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, do you ever do a tattoo on somebody and they can't stop smiling? They're so happy with what they have. Capture that moment. If it's comfortable and it's not obtrusive and you're not going to embarrass the person, sometimes while I'm setting up my camera to take the picture, I'm snapping pictures. And sometimes it won't put the person's whole face. Sometimes I'll crop it where you just see, from the ear down, and you see the big smile and you see the arm tattoo. So, yeah, see, Nathaniel, love that moment. That's right, Nathaniel, you love that moment, but guess what? Everybody else will love that moment too. Who doesn't see a picture of a loving moment or a happy moment and not get a warm, fuzzy feeling? you know, I guess not nice people is the answer to that question, but we don't want to do business with them anyway. Okay, let me move on. This is my slide to remind me to talk about clients. So clients, I've been very lucky. I've been tattooing for 25 years. And I would say in the last 6 years, okay, I've gotten to the point, and I've discussed this on my podcast and I've discussed it in mentoring. I've been able to dial my business in where I'm only tattooing people that I want to tattoo, and I'm only doing the work that I want to do. Now, so that's sounds great on the face of it, and I know a lot of people are like, well, yeah, that's you, that's not me. How do I do that? I'm telling you, if you make the right decisions on a daily basis, you're going to get there a lot faster than I did. Because to be honest, to get it that way for the last 6 years, it really only took maybe 2.5 years of changing the way I dealt with people. Establishing proper boundaries and proper screening techniques to get the right clients in my chair. And you know, the statement I make, and I'll make it to you guys now, is that I look at my schedule now in the last, let's say, 5 years, 5.5 years, 6 years, whatever, and I almost never see a name in that schedule that makes me go, ugh. And you all know what I'm talking about. Even my airbrush artist friend may know that feeling, but we all know that feeling when you look in your schedule and you see that name and you're like, oh. It doesn't matter if it's a guy or it's a girl or what it is. It's just that person that you know you do not want to spend a few hours with. You just don't. And you did it because of money or pressure or whatever, and you just were like, ah, fuck. Again, I'll reserve my cursing for when I have no better word. And you're just like, man, this is going to stink. I got to deal with this person. I got to deal with their weird psychology. I have a hard time steering them and dialing them into what's best for them in tattooing. They don't trust me. You know, call yes and no, man. I mean, again, you can keep being a victim if you want. The bottom line is, if you're in your town and you're tattooing and you can't do it on your own terms, get a different job and tattoo on the side until you can get your business to the point where you can quit the day job. Steve. But yeah, dude, it takes time, but you know what it takes? See what Carl is saying, I get it, but that's the problem. You know, there's an old adage, you can't serve God and money, and I'm not going to get into religion with anybody, but let's just say you can't serve your spirit and money, your heart and money, because you're going to wind up loving one and hating the other. And that's the adage. And it's true, man. It's so true. I would rather not make the money. You're going to get to the point, hopefully, where you'd rather not make the money than sit there and deal with that person. And the other thing is, man, I look at the Japanese and books I've read and things I've seen about the Japanese tattooing masters will not put work on people that they don't like. They meet with you. They sit, they have tea with you. They have a conversation with you. It's not even about your tattoo 9 times out of 10. And basically, believe it or not, as crazy as this sounds, they'll give the friggin' high sign to the apprentice, and the guy walks away, and the apprentice goes, "No, I'm sorry. He doesn't feel comfortable working with you." Whoa! Could you imagine? There are more diplomatic ways that we could do it. And there's always a way to blow off a client and be polite. But you have to cater, you have to dial your life into your joy and your peace and your happiness, if you don't do it now, it's never going to happen. And you have to make the decisions now. You have to take the things you know and the things you've learned and apply them, okay? So that, like a ship, you turn the friggin' wheel, it doesn't bang a hard right like a car. You know, there's a little tiny rudder and it makes little adjustments, and eventually you're all the way over there. Well, that's life. You got to make small adjustments as they can be tolerated in your life via bills and expenses and, you know, cost of living and responsibility. And then through those small changes, new habits are going to be developed by you and by your clientele. And eventually you're going to find yourself in a completely different place. And if it takes 2 years, what did it hurt? Because you could be doing exactly what you're doing. I'm not speaking directly to Carl, obviously. I'm speaking to everybody and myself. If you don't, I guarantee you'll be exactly where you are 5 years from now, and then you'll be exactly where you are then 10 years from now, because you haven't made any adjustments. And some of the things that we talk about is one thing, the power of no. When you have to say no, and it's the best thing for you and your family and your peace and your life. And boundaries. Boundaries is one of the biggest weaknesses I've seen in the tattoo artists I've mentored. They don't understand the boundaries between their personal lives and their professional lives, and how it's making them miserable, versus if they just set up boundaries, the right clients would eventually come to them and they'd be happy. And yes, you have to bite the bullet for a little while. There's going to be a transitional period. And guess what? When I was in my transitional period, I had to back up my tattooing. I had to do a little freelance graphic design work. I had to supplement my income until my tattoo business was where I wanted it to be, and then boom, I'm back in my business full time. I'm at that place right now. To be honest, I don't see owning a studio. You're right, answering emails at 11 p.m. That stopped after the mentoring course. God bless you, man. That's awesome. That is awesome. Emails are poison. But yeah, we go into more detail on how to handle that. Awesome. Yeah, right now, every 3 months I sit down and decide whether or not I'm going to close my brick and mortar studio, because I don't really need it anymore. It's not about street. I don't take any business off the street. I have a beautiful storefront on a busy street with a sign on the door that basically says, "Don't come in." And I know, I'm sure I feel the eyes rolling, but it's the truth. There's a sign on the door that says, "Don't come in." And there are instructions about, if you want to be tattooed by me, this is the process. Email me, blah, 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 blah. And I only do consultations on Tuesdays between 1 and 6. So that's it. If you can't get here, you don't want to be tattooed by me that bad. Now, that sounds crazy on the face of it. I know, guys. I know. But trust me. I've had people be like, "I can't come in on a Tuesday." But I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then I don't email, I say, "I'm sorry, let me take a look, see if I have any. When are you free?" "Oh, I'm free on Monday and Thursday. Let me see if I have any Mondays." Then I email them back and I'm like, "No, I'm sorry. I don't have any Mondays available anytime soon. If you can get freed up on a Tuesday between 1 and 6, let me know. I'd be happy to talk to you about your project." 2 days literally goes by. No more than 2 days. "All right, I'm going to try and come in on Tuesday." And of course that person shows up. Because guess what? It's about, I can, I see the chat. If you email me, request the time management article I did, it's got all of the strategies about your time on the internet and how it's eating up all your free time. But let me get back to that. I got to ignore the chat. Sorry about that. Somebody get me back on track. Oh, so the person emails me literally within 48 hours saying they'll do what I asked them to do, to follow my protocol. It's my protocol. It's my business. It's my business. Why should we be the only business where people dictate to us how we do business? The world doesn't work that way. And it only works that way if we let people do that to us. You have to be strong. You have to learn to say no. You got to push through the fear of not making the money. The fear of not making the money is the thing that handcuffs most people from making the right decisions in their businesses. Yeah, like I said, I don't mind that you guys chat with each other in the chat. That's awesome. I do have an article about it. It's a little PDF article on time management. It does cover emails and social media. But the thing, in a nutshell, just to nutshell it as a takeaway for the people that are here, essentially just set up a window for answering your emails. Never do it first thing in the morning. Never. So worst thing you could do, because here, I'll give you my email spiel. If you let people, okay, if you answer your emails first thing in the morning, okay, and again, guys, I want to stress to you that I didn't come up with all the stuff that I'm teaching you. Some of it's mine, and a lot of it is because I've read books, taken courses, studied with other people, went to seminars, went to workshops, and I'm going to pass the information along to you that's worked. And on that email thing, literally, I remember reading either a book or an article called Don't Answer Email in the Morning, and I read it, and I was a guy who rolled over and checked my phone in bed. But here's the deal, and this is the sentence of the whole book or article that rang the bell for me, and hopefully it'll ring the bell for you. If you answer your email first thing in the morning, you're letting other people set your agenda for the day. I was like, what? But it's 100% true. If you answer your email first thing in the morning, that inbox has now set your friggin' agenda for the day. You don't want to open up something that becomes some fire drill purely because you've got a psychological hook, like you're a people pleaser, or you've got this compulsion to answer everybody immediately. Doesn't need to happen. Usually I'll open my email for the first time at like 11:30, 12 even, or I'll open it at like 6. I'll open it, respond, and by usually 7 or 8, I'm shutting the door and I'm out and I'm home. Well, I see. I had to put my phone on Do Not Disturb past 7 p.m. because I get my mother's trying to call me as late as 11 p.m. Oh, boy. Families. They're awesome. All right, I'm looking at the clock. I want to make sure we got something close to 30 for 20 or 30 for questions, so let me hustle. So now, some things I've done over the last few years. I started with this project called Keep It Real. It was a 3 DVD set. It's still available. It's available as digital download. You get this for free, as well as my other 2 DVDs and the DVD that I produced for another artist. And like I said, if you request the television pilot, you get all that stuff, everything. And I'll break that down later as far as the value of it. But I did this years ago, and I went out and supported it live, did a bunch of tattoo conventions. The pieces that are featured on the box are all highly published pieces that did very well. But that was a very strategic plan to go out, do certain pieces at certain conventions to increase my odds of winning certain awards, and then to support this product and release this product, and then follow-up products. And this went on to be carried by Tattoo Education, which is Guy Aitchison's store, my own online store, and now the digital downloads available on my online store. And we talk a lot about collateral material in your career in my course, because there's a ceiling, which is what we call the ceiling in tattooing. The ceiling in tattooing is this: you can only do so many tattoos a week. Thus, you can only do so many tattoos a month, a year, and so on. Okay? So let's say, for argument's sake, you do $2,000 in tattooing every week, okay? Which is great. Good for you if you do. Okay. Now that $2,000 times 52 weeks, you got $104,000 a year before taxes. Essentially what we're saying is that's all you can make. If you're maxed out and you've raised your hourly rate, and that's as much tattooing as you can do, you've hit the ceiling. You will never make more money than that without raising your rates. Okay? What does that mean? That means you, as a creative, whether you're a tattoo artist, an airbrush artist, a writer, a photographer, doesn't matter. You have to supplement your income with passive income. Now, this DVD was a great example of passive income. The year this DVD came out, I made an additional $30,000 to $40,000 that year just on DVDs. And I'm not saying it to brag. I'm saying I broke out of my comfort zone. I did not want to do this. A good friend of mine encouraged me to do this. And this was when there were not many DVDs. This was like 2006 or 7 when we produced it. And there were all, literally you can, thank you. Literally you could count the amount of DVDs at that time on both hands. And they weren't easy to get. They were actually hard to get. Now they're all over the place. DVDs are dead now. No one wants DVDs anymore. They all want streaming media. So could you imagine what a great year that was, where I made another small salary just sending someone to the post office? It was unreal. And that is what the prints are. That's what the DVDs are. That's what the streaming media is. That's what the ebooks are. That's what the podcast will eventually be. You have to come up with other creative ideas that create passive income. Passive income is the only thing that will break your earnings ceiling as an artist, okay? You know, they say a real business is a business that you cannot, a real business is a business you can sell and you not be involved and it still works. Well, guess what? That means that us as artists are all not businesses, because if I'm not there, I can't paint the picture, I can't do the tattoo, I can't. It's me. That's based on me. But this other stuff, the DVDs, the this, that, I don't have to physically be there. That's business. Something you can automate and makes money while you sleep. You have to get that kind of thought going. And you're all creative. I don't care if you say, oh, I'm only a tattoo artist, I'm only a painter, I'm only a writer. Doesn't matter. You're a creative and you have something to offer that's unique from anyone else. Start small. And don't forget what I said earlier. Get started by getting people into you, by giving things away, by sharing articles from other people and maybe writing a small article of your own. Whatever, you're going to find your gifting and you're going to be able to share it with people if you're not afraid and you don't listen to people's negativity. Okay, let me move on. Other accomplishments, for those of you who know, this is a little bit of a humble brag. I did work at the WWE for a couple of years when I took a hiatus from tattooing because I was just tired of everything. And I did create the undisputed WWE Championship belt for World Wrestling, at that time, World Wrestling Federation, now World Wrestling Entertainment. And in my opinion, the last legit cool-looking belt they ever had. But this was, again, this was about thinking positive, looking forward, not listening to people naysaying in my life. It was a dream to work at that place. And it was an even, and like I was trying to say earlier about tapping into things that are available to us that are like magical, supernatural things, I could have never imagined that I would have this legacy. I was a pro wrestling fan my entire life. And now I can look at the history of pro wrestling and see that I left a legacy on pro wrestling without stepping into a ring. Some of the biggest, best names in wrestling held this belt. And it was before a lot of the big stars left. Hogan held this belt. Rock held this belt. Undertaker held this belt. I think one of the only superstars who hadn't held this belt, probably Stone Cold, I believe. But this was a feather in the cap. But it was because of all of the stuff that I keep teaching and passing on about everything counts, and it's the way you present yourself. It's the amount of trust, and it's relationships. This was about a relationship I had with a wrestler who I tattooed, who then got a job at WWE. We had been tight friends. He needed product as a wrestler, Taz. I did his logos for WWE, wound up working for them on a freelance basis, then hired in-house, and then tapped to submit designs for belts. And boom, there it is. There's a piece of my legacy. So, there. No. So I'm proud of that. I'm not proud of a lot of things. I don't think pride's a great thing, but that to me is like I said, it's a little feather. Again, bringing things to my community. This is a workshop at my place that was given by Jason Edmiston, who is a brilliant painter, who does a lot of the covers for Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine. He's since become just a tremendous fine art painter. And I won't go through the bother of naming people in the photo, but there's a few who's in that photo. I won't embarrass them by giving them shout outs, but I've been doing this since the first custom culture as well, 15 years ago, where if I could discover a great artist at the right time, I would invite them in to teach. And then through my relationships with other artists, hold an event. Again, just continually putting things out there, pushing against the negativity, pushing against the resistance. No one thought these things were good ideas when I started doing them. You're crazy. That guy's never going to come to your little place and do anything. That's stupid. All right, cool. Well, there it is. And that's only one of probably, 50 I've done over the last 15 years, including the ones I've done myself. Sculptors, painters, airbrush artists, pinstripers, some of the best pinstriping artists from Japan. But I'm just trying to say, man, push. And be true to your heart, and be true to your spirit, and be true to your vision. And don't let fear of anything stop you. And that's what this mentoring is about. Is having me and like-minded people on your team. Let's all pull and push in the same direction. This is just another event, just helping out young people, man. Whenever you can, if you could sit down with a young artist, look at their work, give them some guidance, give them some push. Again, it's the whole give what you want. Whatever you need to get, give it away. And that's what I'm doing here. All right, I'm going to go through a few of the posts that I put up. Do all you can with what you have now and don't wait. It took me a while to learn this in my own life, because a lot of us are like, we've got that pregnancy syndrome where it's like, oh, we're going to have our baby when everything's perfect. Well, talk to anybody who's had a baby. I haven't. But talk to anybody who's had a baby, and they'll tell you it's never perfect, and that's not when the baby's coming. So you need to do what you can with what you have now. Don't wait for situations to change. Don't wait for things to be perfect. You have resources now, right now, at your disposal. No matter how limited you think they might be. There's another old saying. I keep hitting you guys with old sayings. You're lucky I'm not saying them in Italian. There's another old saying. You have everything you need right where you are to get where you want to be. And all of these things are counterintuitive, but guess what? Intuitive comes from the world around you. And most of the world around you isn't where you want to be. You are watching this because you want to progress. You want to pursue excellence. You want to level up. You want to dial in. You're not spending an hour and a half with me because you want things to stay the same. I hope not. That would be pretty silly. So I'll just click through these and then I'm going to do Q&A. Everything is an art. This is just about being mindful. Be mindful about everything you do. The way you speak to people, the way you eat, the way you drink, the way you dress. I'm just going to blast through these. You can see all of these on my Instagram, I'm sure. This one is huge. This one is huge. I've actually been trying to think of a good tattoo for this. I don't like to get a lot of lettering, but always choose creativity over competition. Always choose creativity over competition. You cannot be fully creative if you're thinking about what someone else is doing. This is one you guys should really, I hate to use this word, but it's the first word that sprung to mind. This is one you guys should meditate on. I was an extremely competitive guy the early part of my life. Bronx-born Italian guy. Very aggressive, very competitive, and it gets you nothing. It gets you a lot of anger, and it gets you a lot of resentment. It gets you a lot of damaged relationships when really relationships are what life should be about. So that one is a strong one. Time spent thinking about doing something is time spent not doing it. Now, I had to tack the little Nike deal on the end there. Please forgive me, Nike, don't sue me. But the real point is the top part. I heard a story about somebody who was at a party listening to conversations, and she walked up to some coffee clutch, and this person was like, "Oh, I'm going to write a book about it." And she was like, "You're not going to do it." And the other person was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to, I want to change my life, and I'm going to," "No, you're not going to do it." And, on and on and on and on. And the point of that is people who are doers, they don't hesitate. They don't hesitate. They do it. You spend too much time and thought about something, it's a guarantee you won't pull a trigger. Keep that in mind. Great Picasso quote. Every child is an artist. The challenge is how to remain an artist when we grow up. And again, we don't remain that way because of outside pressure and negativity, and we become grown-ups and we succumb to pressure. Have no fear of perfection. You'll never reach it. Salvador Dali. These, I'm going to flip through these because you can find these on your own. Get out of your comfort zone. This is a big one. Try a new medium. If you don't paint, paint. If you don't sculpt, grab some clay. And take a risk and be brave about it. Try something you've never tried. It's really important. Be true to yourself and you'll never be false to anyone. All right, we're getting a little Yoda here. This is probably the best fortune cookie I ever got in my life. You live out of your imagination. You live out of your full potential. And let me just hesitate on that one for a moment before we go to Q&A. If you live out your imagination, you live out of your potential. This is what I was talking about don't be a copy of anybody. You're not living out of your imagination if you're looking at what so-and-so did and you're trying to compete and do the same or better than that person. You're not living out of your imagination or up to your potential if you're trying to oil paint the best skull because you saw 20 other people do it. That's not your gift. That's not your fingerprint. That's not your imprint. That's not your calling. It's not. You've got to go in your head to find it. Not on Facebook, not on Twitter, not on Instagram. Creative thought and imagination. Imagine something. Remember when you were a kid and you imagined stuff? Remember when you could play with a freaking box? A cardboard box. Could have been the Millennium Falcon or a robot. What? You did that as an adult, they lock you up. But you gotta get this back. You gotta get it back. I'd be remiss if I didn't show my family. Yeah, I'm that guy who's got dogs. But this is my lovely wife, Terry, and our current French Bulldogs, Daisy on the left, Baron on the right. And this is my love, man, in my life. This is what I go home to. And when I go home, guess what? I turn it off. I don't answer emails. I don't think about tattooing. I don't think about my business. I try to be present with my family and with the people I care about, because they're the ones, my wife, my mom, the handful of friends and family I have, they're the ones who are going to be there at the end. Speaking of which, let's shock a little reality check. Most of us, if we're lucky, we're going to live to be about 70, maybe 80 years old, okay? Up until we're, 18, we go to high school. And between, like 15 and 28, we kind of get the strength of our identity. And we also, in that time period, work on our craft usually. So that by the time we're like 28, 29, coming into 30, let's say you're a tattoo artist, you probably got legs by then, and you can do a decent piece, and you're competent. And that goes for any creative in whatever medium or realm you operate in. Then you've got about 40 good years to execute. That goes fast, man. It's 4 10-year blocks. Your man Keith, I'm close to that 50 tick, so I'm halfway through. The good thing about being 50, though, or in that range, is that one of the brackets missing is wisdom. So from 30 to 50, you gain your wisdom, and they say between 50 and 60, that 10-year period, you could really do the most damage as far as your success in life, because you've got experience, mastery, and wisdom. That whole 10,000 hours concept about mastering a craft. But this is a wake-up call, man. I don't know where you fall on this line, but, we all have friends who didn't make it this far. But the reality sets in. If you're around 30 or you're around 40, there it is, man. And the problem is we all live like we're going to live forever. We're not. You got to make use of the time you got. The time is a gift. So you could spend it doing what you don't want to do, waiting for things to change, or you can take the bull by the horns. Begin with the end in mind. This I borrowed from Noah. Begin with the end in mind. See your life in the big picture. These timelines are powerful when you see the reality of time. Something to think about, and I'll go deeper on that in the program. I'm going to race to the end here so we can have Q&A. These are just some really great testimonials. I'm not going to read these because I'm not really comfortable kind of patting myself on the back. Josh Culp, Steve Kenram, Mike Tejada, John Sweeney, Mike Dieter, just all said hugely flattering things. If you want testimonials or to be put in contact with people who have taken my courses before you make your decision, I will put you in touch with those people. Not a problem. Or during the replay, you could pause this and read them if you want. I'm not going to read them. That's a little self-serving, no? So what do I offer? Here's what I offer. Here's the sales pitch. Boo. The mentoring program is $495. It lasts from 4 to 6 weeks, depending on you. And we're going to give out a code here in a minute where I'm going to knock $50 off. So it'll be $445. And I'm going to go through what you get in 1 second. I also do just video critique. You will get a personalized video of your tattoo painted over, and I will tell you what needs to be done. to dial in that specific tattoo. And usually that will also help you moving forward with other tattoos, because most of us are making the same mistakes in all of our work. As far as consultation and business and personal consultation, I do one-on-one Skype calls for the same price I tattoo. It's $150 for the hour. That's one-on-one Skype. And I also have done and will do in the future, I've got 2 scheduled in the next 6 months, so I don't do them a lot. Tandem tattooing day. And $700, you come here, we tattoo your client, you're here all day. Anywhere from 4 to 6 hours in my studio, door locked, we tattoo your client together. I tattoo and you tattoo. So keep that in mind. I'm going to move forward. If anything below the level of the mentoring program appeals to you, email me about it. I'll get you the information, because I'm going to just give you the mentoring program information. So the discount code is TMFreeFeb. That looks terrible. TMFreeFeb. $50 off. If you go to tattoosbykeith.bigcartel.com, you're going to see the link for the thing. And then when it's asked you for a discount code, make sure you put in TMFreeFeb and get $50 off. Okay, so I'll give you guys a minute to screenshot that or shoot it with your phone. If you lose the code, email me, TMFreeFeb. Okay, and let's see, lastly, there's the contact information again. Let me go back to this so you have it, TMFreeFeb. Sweet. All right, awesome. That is good question. The session starts on the 27th, Monday the 27th. I will let you use that code up till Friday, the 24th. So you have until Friday the 24th to pull the trigger on that. And if you want any of those other offers, all you got to do is email me, and we'll discuss the details. Okay? So let me quickly, I have to run through the course, and then I will do Q&A. Is everybody hanging in there? Is everybody cool? Went a little longer than I wanted to. I'm trying, guys. For me, this is huge, because usually I take even longer at things. Hold on. Stick with me. Okay, so get back on the screen here. Hey, everybody, I'm still here. Okay, so I'm going to run through really quickly while we still got you what the course is, involves. Let me get the chat back up so I can see you guys. I lost that for a second. Okay, everybody's there. Good. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to just go. I'm going to be looking this way because I've got notes over here on the screen, so hang in. What does the program cover? Tattoo theory. We talk about, also when I do this, just understand that the group conference calls, we go over any problems you're having. So it totally winds up tailor-made to you, which is why I love doing this versus the DVDs. The DVDs serve their purpose. But this gives you the opportunity every week to be like, dude, look at this picture. I've got this raised line work. I don't know why. And we can attack that. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm going to run through this, but know that it's this plus whatever you ask me. Okay? All right. So we talk about tattoo theory, single pass lines, layered tattoos, black and gray. Definitely we go into a lot of art theory, color, design and composition, no competition, composition. We do values, which is huge, flow and fit on the body, lines versus edges. Then we do the video critiques. They're shared video critiques amongst, so you get to see everyone's. They're the paint overs in Photoshop on your work. People have told me that alone was worth the cost of the course. Okay. We do business marketing and promotion strategy, time, money, and business management strategy, which we touched on a little today, customer relations, and the art of the consultation. We touched on that a little bit as well, dig down a little deeper and give you actual things. And again, the conference calls, case-by-case scenarios we can discuss with the group, and I can help everybody. The conference calls are powerful. Let's see. I'm sorry to rush through this, but to me, this is like the least of the thing, is this rundown. Building a clientele of collectors, not consumers. Talked about that earlier. That's what you want, a clientele of collectors, not consumers. You don't want the person who's going to be like, do the feather on my toe. Oh, they said they do it for $10 on the block. Boom, get out of here. Okay? You don't want those people. Those are not your clients. If those are the clients you want, don't take this course. It's not going to help you. You might as well put a giant inflatable gorilla on top of your shop and a dancing girl out front. There you go. Serve appetizers. Plus any other questions you have during our weekly conference call, which is powerful, man. Powerful. And the lessons you get every week, let's say you didn't have a question. Hopefully those lessons that you get that you watch that are pre-recorded parts spark a question or 2 or 10. And if nothing else, what winds up happening is if somebody's got a really meaty question in the conference call, everybody participates and we all learn from each other. It's so cool. And the private Facebook group, same thing. Support, support, support. And no one can view what we're talking about in the private Facebook group. And if they violate any of the terms, boom, I kick them out. So you're basically going to get 4 to 6 Skype coaching calls, which if you added them up, it'd be over $400. 4 to 6 video lectures, which are worth about $100 each, because they'd all be kind of DVDs or whatever you want, however you want to qualify that in your head. You get the personal video art review, which are $150. You get the 3 DVDs. If you don't have them already, you're going to get digital downloads of all of them. If you added those all up, they're worth about $240, $250. So the total value of everything you get on paper is like $1,390 worth of stuff for $495. Plus, you're getting the discount code to knock another $50 off. So at $495, you're saving $895 plus the $50 with the discount code. So I don't think I could give away more. But I've never been accused of not giving enough in my products. So take that for what it is. My wife, my critics, my friends are always like, dude, you're doing too much. So I suffer from that. Okay, so questions, and I see a good one already. So I'm opening it up to Q&A. I got the chat here. This is it. I'm sorry it took so long, but I will stay until everybody's exhausted with questions. I'm good. It's 2:30 my time. Stephen, how much time should we put aside each week to use this program to its full potential? The conference calls take place on Mondays. They between kind of like this, shorter. They're usually about an hour. I've gone as long as 2 hours if the group needs it. I'm not stingy about it. If I have something going on, then I have to keep time tight. Some weeks we've gone 2 hours. Some weeks I've had to keep it in a tight hour. Again, I've never had anybody complain that I cut them off in the middle of a thought or in the middle of a conversation. So that's that. That was a very good question. General Q&A or about the. You could shoot me a general question. That's fine. This is your time, guys. But people who are interested in the course should ask their questions if it's a question that's going to help them make up their mind about taking the course. But I'm here for you. I am here for you. So shoot. Shoot me a bit of information. Stephen, thank you very much. I know you got in under the wire. Thanks for contacting me. If I could do anything for you, any of those things that you saw, hit me up via email and follow me on all my social stuff. And you guys are all on the emailing list now. So any other stuff that comes out in the future, you will receive email about. Questions, come on. Questions. There's 16 of you there. Don't be shy. Oh, there was an anonymous question too. I've got 2 questions. So I'll wait. You guys can type them in. Let me see what I got. I saw an anonymous question come through. Best ways to achieve smoother gray tones for black and gray tattoos and high color saturation for color tattoos. Okay, two very different things, obviously. Smoother gray tones. A lot of the black and gray techniques are going to be covered in the DVD that you're going to get for free, the digital download, which is volume 2 of Keep It Real. What I would say is if you're having a problem getting your, when you say smooth, I'm going to assume you're getting like lines in your stuff, things that you know, it's grainy, it's peppery, it's not that smooth, charcoaly look. One of the first things to do is to shorten up your stroke on your machine. I don't know if you're using, you know, I can't ask you now because it's an anonymous question, but if you're using a coil machine, you're going to want to shorten up the stroke and maybe run the machine a little faster. Try putting your shader in a liner machine. When I was using coils, I did that a lot for black and gray. I used a short stroke cutback for anything like 15, 17 mag and up. You can get very smoky sfumato looks with that. You know, and washes, it's all subjective. Some people like to use pre-mixed washes. Personally, I don't. I usually put out 3 or 4 caps. I try to use as much pure black as I possibly can because I can get a lot of values out of just black via hand motion, hand speed. High color saturation is the opposite. You know, you've got to match the machine to the ink. And what does that mean? That means that the ink's better background composition. I see that. Keep stacking up the questions. I'll get to them. Color saturation, you have to match the speed of your ink. What does that mean? If you have a very liquid ink, like when you shake it, it's watery, versus, oh, that's the timer, we didn't do bad, versus something that's kind of creamy, okay? The watery one would be considered a fast ink. In other words, if you poured it down a ruler or a stick or something, it would move pretty fast. The thick stuff would move real slow. Okay. Faster machine for faster ink, slower machine for slower ink. You don't want the speed of the machine fighting with the viscosity of the ink. That's why most liners run fast, because most lining ink is very fluid. Does that make sense? It's a basic theory, but you can apply that as kind of a just a little keystone to work with. I will go into way more detail, and if I were to see a photo of your tattoos, I could tell you what you're doing right and what you may not be doing correctly and what you need to dial in. So that's the answer to the first anonymous question. Everybody hang in there. We're getting to everybody, I promise. Okay, I have one other one I saw. Crap, sorry, hold on. Okay, and then I have another one that came in on my phone here. 1 second, guys, let me get that up. And then I'll head back to the chat. What would be the benefit for people who repeat the program? Will there ever be a social Skype class for multiple students, blah, 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 blah? Okay, so this was from somebody who's already taken it. And what it is he took it back when the Skypes were one-on-one. His question is actually how it's been done the last 2 or 3 times. It's a group Google Hangout or Skype, so everybody's in every week. I used to do everybody individual. It's just too much of a workload. Like I said, you can get an individual one-on-one, but it's a different product. And as far as the benefits for someone repeating, I would be willing to adjust the course for someone who's already taken the first level so they're not going to get repeat. I would adjust the course and adjust the price to continue to coach somebody and mentor somebody who's already taken part 1. It would be much more personalized and much more dialed in as far as the content they would get. It would be much more specific to their individual needs, and then I would include them in the group. calls. That's my theory on that without having to really work it out in detail. Okay, better background composition. I cover that, Stephen. That's covered in the course. It's not something I could really address this quickly, but in the paint overs, you're going to learn a ton about that. I cover it and the paint overs, forget about it, because a lot of people's backgrounds and composition are weak. I paint over them, show you how to improve them, show you how you can maybe design those better from the get-you. If I took your course, what do I need to prepare? Nothing. You need to be a tattoo artist in a shop, because you're going to have to send photography of your work if you want it critiqued. And then you just have to have a Wi-Fi connection so that you can participate in the calls. The other thing I didn't read in the description is you also have email access to me 5 days a week, business days a week, a reasonable amount of questions. And everybody's been very respectful of that, because like I said, I only answer my email once a day. If you have a couple of quick questions you didn't get to in the call, or came up on the fly, or something happened that day and you're upset about it, or concerned about it, or fearful about it, email me and I will answer any questions you have via email. You have access to me the entire week via email, and then conference calls in person like this once a week. So I'm here for you as much as I possibly can be. Okay. Excuse me. Will this course be a one-off, or can I attend at a later time as well? Yeah, Paul, I keep rolling it. So whenever you're ready, I'm trying to run 2 or 3 sessions at a time. So, the only things that would collide would be the Monday calls. And now I've got one group is on Monday. Actually, 2 groups are on Monday. One group is on Tuesday. Any quick tips about keeping yourself motivated? A bit of a boring question, but I was working hard outside of tattooing with painting and drawing won't make any difference to the... I feel like working hard outside of tattooing with painting and drawing won't make any difference to the people I tattoo. Wow, really? I'm dumbfounded. Why wouldn't it? If you had beautiful paintings that you did in your studio, people wouldn't understand that you were a more versatile artist. They wouldn't see your skill set outside of tattooing. I mean, it sounds like you're in a crap market. It really does. It sounds like it sounds like the people around you are depressing you. That's bad. That's almost like one of the biggest points I've been trying to make this whole time is outside pressure and negativity can squash your spirit. And I'm worried about you, Carl. It sounds like your spirit's getting a little squashed. You need to figure out what you need to do to get your spirit buoyed up and encouraged, because that's a weird thing. That's not a typical thought or response, I don't think, to a situation like that. Is it stupid to drop Facebook? I'm not finding new clients from it or work harder at it. I hate Facebook. Tasha, no. You know what? Facebook is not a good business tool anymore. Okay, I'm going to clarify. Now, this is something we dig way deeper into in the class, but I'm going to give you the broad strokes, and hopefully you will take my course, okay? Instagram is the medium for visual artists, even though Facebook owns it, whatever. That's where you should be pushing your work. Facebook is only an effective business tool if you're paying for Facebook ads, okay? It's not like it used to be. The algorithms and programming of Facebook don't put your work in front of as many eyes as it used to because they want to be paid. So is Facebook an effective tool? It's a very effective tool if you're willing to pay for Facebook advertising. Instagram is slowly going the way of the dodo, But because it's a visual medium, you have better odds of a piece catching fire. There are still algorithms at work. God knows what they are. But I've put up things that have gotten 30 likes, and I've put up things that have gotten almost 200 that seemingly aren't much different to me, but really it's about an algorithm that snowballs the viewers, meaning it continues to show it to people who have shared interests. So the more the little kernel expands, the more it's exponential. Does that make sense? There's a lot more you could probably find out specific to algorithms and how they work. But for visual artists, Instagram. Facebook, Facebook is for, you know what Facebook is better for? And Facebook is not useless. Facebook is good for the whole getting people into you as a person. So once in a while, I'll put up videos that are just strictly for entertainment. I'll rant about an experience I had at a restaurant or a coffee place, or play with my dogs, or do some live sketching. But just strictly posting your art, nah. Yeah, I think you might. It's like throwing it in a well. You're better off with Instagram, and Twitter is useless for artists, I think, unless you've been there from the very beginning and you're in a network of artists on Twitter. Just my 2 cents. How do you feel about the rotary versus coil debate? I started with rotaries when they were looked down on. You think you started with rotaries when they were looked down on? I started with rotaries when the Numa came out, and people thought I was a rep for the company. That's how few people were using them. I was putting up instructional videos about the Numa and how to hook them up, how to hook up your compressors and everything else. So personally, I love rotaries. Right now, I'm willing to go on record, not something I would normally do, but since you people are here for my webinar, and you're going to all sign up for my mentoring program because I gave you all this great free juice, I will go on record as saying, as of today, February 13th, 2017, the Inkjecta Nano Flight is my absolute favorite machine I've ever used. I can't stop using it. Prior to that, I really liked the pen, the Cheyenne Hawk pen. And I still have it, and I'll still use it, and I like the Thunder. But to be honest, I'm loving the friggin' Nano. Love it. Love it. I don't touch my power supply, plug and play, no problems. So that's my feeling. I love rotaries. Tasha, cool, awesome. I'm still learning my customer. I'm still learning, but I get my customers because of my drawings. So your own art is very important. I agree, Nestor. Good point. Devin. Whoa, Devin remembers. He's been there since Jump Street. Any other questions? Who's signing up? That's what I want to know. Who's signing up, yo? I want to help you guys out, man. I know I can help you. Who's thinking about it? Who's thinking about joining me, doing mentoring, and letting me help them out? Anybody? I'm looking. I'm watching you. But no pressure. I would love to help you guys out. Like I said, there are 50 or 60 people who have taken these mentoring things from me. Thank you. Who have taken these things from me, who are people you know and whose work you admire. And I don't take credit for it. That would be nonsense. But if you spoke to them, they would tell you that sometimes you just need that person who's going to either give you a little push or give you a little encouragement, or maybe even, and this has been the case I've found many, many times taking courses and workshops and books, and sometimes you just need somebody to retell you something you heard and you forgot. You lost it. And it comes back and you're like, oh crap. I knew that. Why am I not doing that? I've told people who've gone to art school about deficiencies in their artwork, in their tattooing, whether it be value or light source, all things that we cover, color theory. And they've been like, crap, I learned that in school. And then I said, well, why aren't you doing it in your tattoos? Because people look at tattoos different. And it's like, it's not. I guarantee you most of what you people are suffering from, I can help you. It's easy to help you. You just have to be willing to listen and willing to apply what I show you. And then after that, you do what you want. But I know I can dial you in because like I said, my gifting is not being the best artist in the world. That's fine. I'm totally at peace with that. But I can analyze and break things down and communicate things in a way where people understand them very quickly and they're able to adapt and make, like I said, make small changes until they dial something in and they're headed in a new direction. And that's what I want for you guys. That's what I want for you guys. So that's it. Yeah, Steve, I need to get to that next level. I know how you feel, dude. I'm always leveling up. I just finished the mentoring program. I just finished the mentoring program. There's over $1,000, over $1,000. So I practice what I preach. I'm not just sitting here asking you to throw caution to the wind and send me free money. I do the things that I pass on. I'm not a hypocrite. So thank you, Glenn. Any last minute questions? Let me see. I need this course. I love that there's business talk. I'll be on the next group. Thank you. Boo, next group. Boo, everybody boo Tasha in the chat room. Boo. No, I'm just kidding. Any other questions? Because I'm going to pull the plug. We're 4 minutes to 3. Last round of questions. And obviously you can email me, but last live questions. If you don't have a question, just say goodbye so I know, and we're gonna shut it down. Shut it down, Mike. How we doing? Glenn says thank you. Who else? There's 14 of you in here. Either thank you, Nathaniel. Awesome. You guys are awesome. If you think of any questions after, email them to me. For the next 2 weeks, I'll be taking that code and I'll be answering those questions because I want you in this course. Only if you want to be in. You don't want to be in? Boop. It's a little kick guy. Boop. See, that's perspective. You know those big problems? You got to picture them this big, and then this guy comes along and just goes, boop. I got to thank you from Nathaniel. Anyone else? Questions, or we'll just say goodbye. Carl, no problem. Always, man. Always there for you. And anyone who's taken the mentoring is in the Facebook group. So you'll be able to chat with people who've already taken it ongoing. You'll be a member of that Facebook group for life, for the life of Facebook anyway. Anyone else? Are we saying goodbye? Are we signing off? Give me anything. Okay. 10-second countdown for a last minute question. 10, 9. That's not easy to do when you're looking at yourself on a camera. 8, 7, 6. You're awesome. 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, I like that the 1 is my pinky. 1. See that? That's fucking class right there. Oh, I cursed. You guys are great. Thank you so much for attending this. It means the world to me, whether you take the course or not. The fact that you spent this time with me and I got your ideas, your opinions, and your feedback are tremendous. I want to get you guys through any barriers, any resistance, any fears you have that are stopping you from creating the things you are called to create, and just following your calling and not letting anybody stop you or anything stop you. All right? I want you to share your gifts with the world because that's what you're here for. And there's only so much time to do it. All right? Everybody have a great week. You're all awesome. I'll be thinking of you guys. We're looking for your emails. Thanks again. Bye.